real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. eSportsBets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.
Alright guys, welcome back to the StarLadder Hearthstone kickoff season, and we are in the losers bracket with Orange versus Nirea. Both players have to win this or they're not going to have that chance to play 6-0 to get the last spot of the qualifying from this group.
Yeah, we see now Druid against what looks to be Patron, I believe. Yeah. Should be quite interesting. Both of the players here actually, yeah, both of them playing Patron, but only Nirea has the Druid in this case. With the Lothar coming down, which is about the best tutor you can get except for the Fiery Warlocks here. Wildcloth coming down. I think this is one of the few cases where we see Druid probably, I guess, not having enough cards to sustain throughout the game. So without an Ancient of Lore, he might run into trouble later on, but an excellent start nonetheless.
Yeah, I think Nirea was quite fortunate that there was no Fiery Warax to challenge this Shredder. I mean, the thing with Yeti over Shredder back in the day, it couldn't be Fiery Waraxed, and that made it a lot stronger. But fortunately for Nirea, it wasn't there, and he only had a Loot Hoarder there to challenge it.
Yeah, I remember that. Then it was all about, you know, who got the Innovate Yeti out first. It was an Innovate Yeti against Innovate Yeti, and then the guy that had the Wrath was the one that ended up ahead in that one. But no weapon coming down at all. Execute is okay, but not against this board. It kind of feels like when you're playing Druid and you have two Savage Roar at the start of your hand. So having these patrons here, this War Song, which will be excellent later on, but right now it's going to be pretty bleak. He has a 5-drop and a 6-drop to follow this up with, but I think he actually needs to just hero power and turn.
Yeah, I think Sixo had this problem a few games ago where his turn 4 was just hero power. But Nirea is actually dominating board right now. He's had a really fast start with that Innovate and that Piloted Shred. He opts that Keeper straight away, regardless, not really interested in the silence effect. He's just getting more board, and he drops a Drake and recharges his hand even more. So it's actually looking really good for Nirea.
I can't stress how important that Astral Drake is, replenishing that hand. We have the Harrison coming down. Is Harrison possibly stronger than Belcher here? He's gonna have a lethal if he doesn't play the Belcher. But this is about where you want to be with Druid. If the warrior gets this far behind, he starts cleaning with weapons, starts taking more and more damage. We have the Swipe coming down. Could be a Wrath as well on top of that.
Oh, he opts to save the Wrath. This warrior is on 9 health already. Wow, this Druid has really stomped him so far, and he just concedes. There's just nothing he can do. And that was... How long did that last? About a minute?
Looked to be, yeah. I mean, with Orange also being down one series, this must be so tilting for him. I mean, he didn't even check for the Doomsayer out of that Powerless Shredder, which I think, you know, it's a second, you might as well check. You don't want to give extra information away, but I mean, Orange should be basically ahead of the curve, and knowing that this is that he's going to be playing Patron, and Nirea probably knows about the Patron. Just to clarify, Orange is the one who has the Warlock and the Hunter, and Nirea is the one who has the Druid and the Rogue in this case, so it's actually switched. But Nirea up 1-0, got the Druid out of the way. A perfect start, as the Druid should be the weak class here in this lineup.
Yeah, it was really good for him to get that Druid off the table. You know, he's got that win now. He doesn't have to worry about some of the consistency issues Druid has, some of the matchup problems it has in the current meta. It's potentially, like we said, his weakest deck in his lineup, and it's off now. He's won with it. So now he goes into the rest of the series with Hunter, which is very powerful right now, and Rogue as well. And Rogue is a deck that can deal with Patron because of Blade Flurries and stuff like that. So we don't actually see him queue it here. Oh, he queues his patron first, and Orange has queued his handlock. So fortunately for Orange, he's queued the good matchup. So this might bring Orange back up a bit after losing that quick game if he wins this one. Right, so we see a Mountain Giant and a Twilight Drake available to Orange. He also has the coin. Now his hand is not available just yet. So we're probably just going to see a tap here. We might see a coin Twilight Drake come out next turn. But he's most certainly going to want to use this coin for something. Or he might not just do nothing at all.
Indeed, here. I mean, this couldn't be better. You really want the coin as the patron to get that Emperor out of turn earlier. The start couldn't be better as well for Orange here, as I believe it's Orange that is the Warlock.
Yeah.
So Orange dropping the Ancient Watcher here out on the board. Nirea, what can he possibly do? I mean, you can use the dash, but he will probably have to attack into the Ancient Watcher just to get that kill. Doesn't look like he's gonna go for it. Molten Giant, not too good.
So the Mountain Giant comes down. Big 8-8 the challenge. No execute for Nirea yet. Harrison.
So there's actually a few ideas about going for the Twilight Drake versus the Mountain Giant. The Mountain Giant is more aggressive, and I mean, Nirea's kind of been giving off this signal of weakness. But let's say that Orange actually goes for the Twilight Drake first. He could now tap and go for the Mountain Giant. Possibly. I mean, also, I guess if Nirea's gonna use an execute, he'd rather execute the Mountain Giant than the Twilight Drake, but it's a bit rough here. What do you think about the idea of going like Twilight Drake, coin, silence, and just going face with the Mountain? I feel like that wouldn't be too bad. You can trade the 4-1 into the Harrison and keep this more smooth here in game number 2, but yeah.
Oh, Nirea gets a really good clear here, actually, with the Death Spy. That slam was good for him. And he got the opportunity to drop a Robin to Berserker with this as well if he wants. But he opts not to do it. I guess he values his Robin more for a kill turn rather than just playing it as a body. Do you think that's correct?
Yeah, the handlock has so many great ways to deal with a frothing. You basically want to have a Warsong frothing turn with like a big whirlwind for the burst lethal. As I mean, you have the big game hunter possibility, you have the silence possibility, hellfire, dark bomb. There's so many options.
So Dr. Boom comes down, reduced in cost from the Forison. Oh, he gets the execute as well. That's good for him. But the thing with execute in this matchup, execute, you only get 2 of them, and Nirea is gonna, Orange is gonna have so many of her high value targets, more giants. Did Orange have Ragnaros in his list, or was that that was Lostov? But there's still a potential for Ragnaros. We haven't seen the full list yet. So yeah, this is why the matchup's so tough. Not only can the Warlock create a massive wall that is so hard for the patron to punch through with its combo, it also only has 2 executes generally to deal with its threats. Maybe a big game hunter gets teched in, but not everyone does it.
I've gotta admit, I wouldn't have minded Nirea just drop the Emperor last turn. Gives him a lot more options, instead of actually wasting the execute. Because you could get the execute for free. You could get a cool Taskmaster for 1 mana, free whirlwind. He has the patron and the frothing. So I think you would actually been in a better position if you had saved the execute and just taken that 9 damage. As I mean, Nirea would have to kill the Orange will have to kill the Emperor anyway, and can both hit with the Dr. Boom to the Emperor and to the face. Now, looking at this is not as good, really.
Yeah, it's quite an awkward turn for him, really. Does he really want to use this Dark Bomb on that? But it looks like he's got no choice. A Mortal Coil would have been fantastic. I mean, he can still follow up with something. He can follow up with a Belcher if he wants.
I think it's gonna be what he's gonna have to do here. I mean, it's not the prettiest, and we see Nirea has a huge combo incoming. He can play his entire hand.
And that's
Could
without...
have he done that, I guess, a turn earlier had he gone for the Emperor there into the boom boss, but Hellfire is coming down.
Wow, okay.
I don't know about that. I mean,
Surely Hellfire has more value than a Dark Bomb in this matchup.
yeah, not only that, but I mean, essentially the difference is you deal 3 damage to your Twilight Drake and you kill a 2/2. You also do 3 damage to your face, which is not good at all. He has, I guess, yeah, I mean, he does have the Shadow Flame anyway, but this is actually getting close to lethal here.
Oh man, he's going to develop such a massive ball. We do see a Shadow Flame sitting in Orange's hand though, so depending on how much damage is done to Orange, so we got here. Oh wow. So if he does decide to go face of all this damage, Nirea, does that Orange does actually have a follow-up. He could probably Molten Giant Shadow Flame if he needs to.
I think it was really nicely done attacking the 5/2 into the Belcher, because he does get some second patron anyway through the slime and kills the Twilight Drake. So
Oh wait, it's lethal.
it's actually lethal, yeah.
Wow.
Orange is just devastated, losing a heavily favored matchup due to a few, yeah.
So if he hadn't have Hellfired the turn before, would it have made a difference?
Actually, yeah, I mean, even though I had 3 health.
He would have not cleared the Cruel Taskmaster though. So he would have had
Yeah.
he would have had 1 health actually.
Yeah.
He would have
Technically, yeah, that's true. But he would have had a little bit more mana, I guess, to work with, so it's interesting. I mean, we saw, yeah, these Handlock versus Patron games coming down to such low health again and again, with Lost of cutting it close against Orange. Orange, you know, only had to do 2 more damage, then it's coming down to really close again with Lost of versus 6-0, and now the 3rd game. So, Nirea actually 2-0 up, and things looking grim for Orange. I mean, what can he do here?
He has to hope Nirea runs into those awful rogue draws where you get like double prep, nothing like at start your opening hand. I mean, rogue is prone to that sometimes. You can just draw stuff that just does nothing. Like you have to play like really reactive quite early on, and you just end up with like 2 preps and nothing else that doesn't do anything. And so that's why you kind of got to hope for. Nirea gets those clunky rogue draws.
So this looks to be mid Hunter versus Rogue. Now, in general, it's a very draw-dependent matchup. It comes all down to the sap, if you can sap the Savannah or not. I mean, in this case here, I don't think, yeah, the coin is the correct. I think you just go for the hero power, and Nirea sees that immediately, and as he is a very experienced Rogue player. Now, starring Burst is actually going to be pretty funny if you can get the combo off.
Is that Leok? Okay. So Nirea has a good option here. He's got the option to prep Eviscerate SI if he wants to do that. I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Probably about the best way to use on the prep there.
I do love it with Rogue where you get those turns where you play like a Shredder prep Eviscerate and like clear their board and gain board advantage yourself, and that's one of the great powers of Oil Rogue and Miracle back in the day, is just being able to get board presence very easily if they want it with those preps.
Especially when you have a Validator on the board. But yeah, Orange looks really tilted in this case. He looks like he's ready to stand up and go do something else, you know, if you look at his composure. He did get the bow, which is really what he needed to get back into this. I wonder if he's gonna drop the owl. About the best scenario, but then he has to attack with the bow as well, I believe.
Yep. This is looking good for Nirea, I think. He's got a sprint coming up. He's got a Blade Flurry, Deadly Poison for when this board of Oranges gets out of control, and he's got a way to manage that when he needs to. And like you said, Orange's composture is not showing any confidence right now. He just seems a bit frustrated.
Indeed, yeah. But looking on this board, I mean, Nirea, I'd say, is slightly ahead, as Orange will need to draw decent cards turn after turn. Let's say he draws into a second Hunter's Mark, he's in real trouble. But this is gonna be quite rough. I wonder if you can just go for.
Is he going for the High Master?
Looks to be, but you'll have to And yeah, oof. This is.
See,
I think now you don't go for fade. Okay.
See, the thing with that play there is that is a play that is quite a psychological play in my opinion, because Orange, although he's already 2-0 down, he wasn't looking in a great spot, and he relied on RNG to kind of bring things back for him. And if you look at someone's mentality, seeing something not go their way again, it's not good for your state of mind as a player, unless you're just a complete bullhead and it doesn't bother you at all, and you just go for it. But we can tell like Orange just seems just a little bit frustrated now.
Mm-hmm. I think they noticed the kill command last turn versus the Hunter's Mark. Like, what are you gonna kill command instead of a Belcher? There's, I guess, the possibility of going for face. I'm not sure that's gonna be. I mean, Orange was playing more of a board control type of game here instead of going for only for face. He was trading a lot more than he I guess needed to. If he was playing more aggressively, he would have probably not traded into the Shredder there earlier. So it feels like it's kind of not working out in his favor. If we look at the kill command though, you know, you can't kill command low step the turn it's dropped anyway, and a turn after it's dropped it's probably traded into something already, so it's not ideal. When we look at stuff like, I guess, you know, the option of kill commanding maybe a wild hitcher, that's still, you know, about the same as kill commanding into a Belcher. So I think kill command on the Belcher would have been the play earlier on. The Dr. Boom is going to be a huge help though for Orange. I mean, wouldn't mind him just going for face. It's a bit vulnerable to sap, but yeah.
I would have liked to see Unleash the Hounds. Get that old combo back off, the Buzzard and the Hounds. Living the dream. Living the Hunter dream there, but he didn't. He gets a Belcher. Belcher's gonna be pretty decent, I think. It's gonna protect him from any. Well, it's gonna make an oil quite inefficient, because he'll have to clear the Belcher with part of the weapon, so it does protect him quite a bit. But Nirea has a sprint. He's just gonna recharge his hand straight away next turn.
I mean, let's think about if he'd gone face Belcher hero power. He puts him down so incredibly low. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
Down to 7 health, and he can actually do 7 damage from hand next turn with that special kill command.
The thing is here, Orange is still playing the way which he's played from the start of this series. He's playing defensive, he's playing reactive, he's playing for board. And like you said, if he had gone down your line of play then and played super aggressive, he was threatening lethal.
I mean, yeah, in general, you know, Nirea would need to kill or sap the Dr. Boom this turn to have any chance of winning this game. And if he does that, you kill him anyway with the kill command. If he doesn't do that, you're probably, you know, then it really doesn't matter. So Orange looks really tilted, sadly.
So he doesn't get a full clear here. He gets, well, he's on 1 health unless Orange draws some damage.
This might be enough. I think there's, no reason to go face with the slime. I mean, he's already used, and heal pod is gonna save him anyway, and if he doesn't go for the heal pod, he's dead anyway. So there is that. Yeah, no possibility of getting out of this one, sadly, for Nirea. So Orange going to win game number 3 and look to tie up the series. But it's 2-1 now. Orange needs what? To win with his warrior. He needs to win with his handlock. Handlock against Rogue is still favored for the handlock, so that's definitely a possibility. The warrior matchup is so rough though, and I'd give Nirea a huge edge in that series.
I think he'll probably kill the handlock here, just to try and get another win. Oh, he's going for the warrior. Okay, so if he wins this game, it'd be quite a big thing for Orange, I think, because this is his bad match. And if he can win this, it might give him the morale boost he needs to take the series. But it's going to be a tough battle. And Nirea is a very competent rogue player who had a bit of bad luck, I think, last game. Not having an option to deal an option to deal with that Doctor Boom was a bit unfortunate. Could have done with a sap like you said.
Yeah, we were talking about it at the beginning of the series. Sap is everything in this matchup, sadly, and Orange do just a pretty decent curve there, and followed it up with the Doctor Boom. I think without the Doctor Boom, Nirea would have probably taken this match still, but Doctor Boom is just so strong. You don't have a straight up answer for it.
And some rogue players have been running Big Game Hunter these days. I mean, I've been using it in Rogue when I played Rogue because Doctor Boom just shows up in everything these days. There's only a small handful of decks which you don't see Doctor Boom, and being able to just take him out on the turn he's dropped is just so good, and it's worth paying 3 mana for it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, for me, it's the Boom Buster that are the problem, really, when I'm playing Rogue. They tend to do so much damage. They always hit like an Astral Drake for 4 or something. But yeah, I think Orange seems in a slightly better position now. It's getting really late though in Sweden, as we see it's all dark there. But this scenario, if the Rogue doesn't draw horribly, then he should be favored. It comes down to the Blade Flurries, as you have just such a nice way to deal with everything. But I mean, Orange does have the Harrison, and if he gets caught out of position, this might be quite big. Let's think about the possibility of like Astral Drake backstabbing the 3/3, trading into the 3/1.
I think that's the way to go here. Deals with the board quite efficiently, and he doesn't want this Death Sprite proccing this Acolyte Pain for draws. You want to reduce as many draws as you can. And the thing with the Death Sprite, if it does take out the Azure Drake, he still has a chance that the SI7 will stick around at least for another turn, unless he decides to use a Whirlwind or a Cruel Task or something.
So I actually want to talk about the best way to deal with Dr. Boom. You know, in general, let's say you play a taunt and it gets Black Knighted, you know, is there actually an equivalent to that against Dr. Boom? There's one scenario that I've found that feels like that. Feels like you're actually, if your Dr. Boom gets big evented, it's, you know, it's kind of just like a trade. I guess you still have the Boom Buster, you probably still trade for a card, but there's one scenario where you just feel horrible playing Dr. Boom, and that's against Control Hunter, which is an actual deck being played. Fake from MYI has been playing that a bit. I practiced with him that deck actually quite a lot, and the idea there is you have Gazrilla, you have Alexstrasza, you have Ragnaros and Hunter. You have so many of these big threats, and you have Shenjin, bows, etc. And you actually run wild pyromancers in that. And what we used to do was, I guess it hasn't been played in about a month now, but the idea was you go for wild pyromancer and Hunter's Mark, a 2-mana combo that just gets rid of Dr. Boom and the Boom bots in one sweep.
Yeah, that deck is crazy. He actually knocked me out of a Gfinity qualifier before Conquest came in, and he just like 3-0'd me with that deck. I had no idea what was going on. It was just like, if you don't expect it, it is quite overwhelming.
But look at try to mulligan against the Hunter. You think it's, you know, maybe 70% chance it's going to be a hybrid Hunter or a face Hunter, maybe slight chance it's going to be mid Hunter, but no, you actually need executes and big game Hunters, or you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Acolytes of Pain, for example, you know. The scenario is you, I guess, like with Control Warrior and Priest, and against Druid you have the scenario, but this is looking to be close to lethal here.
All of a sudden, Nirea is on 5 health, and there's a 12-3 Frothing Berserker sitting there. But the Blade Flurry is gonna be able to take care of this board. But look at Orange's health. He's gonna gain so much armor from this.
Indeed, and he actually has set up lethal as well for the next turn, it looks like. And the Vulture comes down, okay, so that's putting quite an hindrance on his plans. Deathspite is massive though, you can go Deathspite and execute.
Oh wow.
I think you should start with the battle rates though, probably.
Yeah, you
why
want to.
not?
Yeah, you might as well fish for a card, see what else you get. So he's... Yeah, just Battle Rage first, just see what you get. It's 0 mana.
guess he's playing around the option of there being a second Belcher that wouldn't give him lethal, but generally only run one Belcher and then maybe one heal bot or one Earther Ring. I think I saw Nirea running an Earther Ring before, but I haven't seen the heal bot. That's mostly what Dog has been playing. Now, it does not end up going for it. Is there anything Nirea can do really? I mean, Orange has got the God or the Warsong plus a huge amount of burst into the Emperor, into the Grommas. This is like a 1 in 10 scenario that the Patron Warrior has to win this matchup. I played Patron Warrior. I played the Oil Rogue myself this weekend at DreamHack, and against Patron Warriors it's so smooth. You know, if they draw a mediocre hand, you just feel so in control. You can deal with their mid-range minions. The weapons aren't as massive really, and then when the Patron turn comes, you can essentially just, you know, go for a blade flurry and clear.
I would have liked to have seen a Fan of Knives from Nirea then, instead of a Drake, to look for the heal bot, because if he had got the heal bot, he could have played it.
I think, you know, he probably wasn't playing around. He didn't obviously know Orange's hand, so maybe he figured that he was okay. It's unlikely that Orange got all of these cards in a row that would give him the exact lethal there. So it's going to game number 5. What a turnaround. Again, Nirea, he was up 2-0 against 6-0 and then fell down and lost 3 times with the Druid there, but now it seems to be the Rogue that's in trouble. Last game against Handlock, might Orange be pulling up a 3-2 reverse sweep here?
So what do you, going into this game now, Miracle Rogue traditionally had a hard time against Handlock, whereas Oil Rogue can do things a little bit differently. They can kind of build a big weapon up without it being threatened, because most Handlocks don't generally run Harrison or an Ooze. And then they got that big flurry for when all the giants come down. Is that the general strategy you would go in this matchup?
Yeah, essentially it's just to either get a crazy prep sap board and just, you know, steamroll the Handlock, hope he has no big AoE, or go for the late game. Earlier on, when at the start of BRM, people were running these Emperor Thorizon Rogue decks, as it looked to be such an awesome card for the Rogue. You used to run 2 oils, use a salty deckhand, and you could actually just blade flurry a whole board down twice. But it was super inconsistent and super clunky. We didn't draw the right cards. So people have been moving the more consistent form now with 1 oil. I believe that's what Nirea is running.
Yeah, there was a time in the meta where, I think just before BlackRock came out, where people were kind of bouncing between 2 oils, 1 oil, and then BlackRock came out, they said Forrison came down and people trying 2 oils. But I think a lot of people come to agree that Forreston's not really needed in Rogue. They have enough kind of shortcuts around their spells and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the majority of players now are mostly debating on, do you run, you know, I guess 2 Sweaters and 1 Violet, or you know, 2 Violets. Some people even run no Violets. It's even seen, and it kind of comes down to, you know, 2 fans versus 1 fan, and the Slot Belcher versus Healbot. Whether you fear the Hunter more or kind of the Zoo style more.
Well, that's the problem really right now. Zoo and Hunter are both very popular, and depending on how you build the deck, like you said, 2 Shredders, 2 Violets, etc., will depend on what matchup. So you got to I think you've got to kind of cater your Rogue to its around your other classes and how your other classes deal with certain decks.
That's absolutely right here. But looking at this board, is this gonna be a Hellfire turn? This is what I hate with Handlock, when you don't have the removal you need and you have to play something painful like this.
Although Hellfire, it does hurt, but it's not. I guess it's not too bad. I mean, he's still, unless you guys running 2 Hellfire, 1 Shadowflame at the moment, or is it 2 Shadowflame, 1 Hellfire? Because that kind of bounces back and forth sometime with Handlock.
I prefer 2 Shadowflame, but I think the majority is running. It is running 2 Hellfire just because of the patrons. But I feel like you don't even need the double Hellfire against the patrons. It comes down to, I think, I'm not sure what Orange is actually running in this case. Prep? Fan, okay. It's not bad. Such a fast hand here. You don't really want to use the Eviscerate here, actually.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, like, if you eviscerate SI, you've just thrown away quite a bit of burst. And the Warlock's still sitting at 23 health, so that eviscerate's gonna probably come in handy to finish him off.
I think you have to just hope for a sprint or a Tinker's Oil and just actually go for this board, because you need about a 2 or 3 minion board to challenge the hand lock. I mean, Nirea is in a tough spot, but Orange actually has a horrible hand, so this might go either way.
Alright, so Belcher, that's not a bad draw. We'll challenge these 2 minions.
I think for one thing, a tap has to come down in this case. You know, he wants to have the option to play this Molten. So he needs more speed in his hand, realistically. I mean, if he plays the Instant Watcher, what's he going to do next turn? That's my problem.
Yeah, you can't heal bot. You don't really want to Draxus. Silence in it, that's only 1 mana. You still have 8 mana to play with.
Tinker's not bad at all here. All where you want to be, but you definitely want to clear first.
He's so
one sap, yeah, and 1 sap and a prep, and this would have been looking to be quite lethal.
Sprint wouldn't be too bad either. He does need to draw, like you said, into that sap. Oh, taps into the giant.
Oh, he's going to play the owl first. That actually will mess up his Mountain. Oh, okay, thank God. But still, I mean, look at the scenario now. Would you rather be at 18 health and having an extra card in hand? Or would he want to be at 20 health and not having the extra card? I mean, that card could be a Belcher easily. And now, again, he did top deck the Mountain Giant from the tap, but still, next turn is going to be painful. I keep saying next turn is going to be painful, but he will just need to keep on top decking answers, or he's going to be in a lot of trouble now. But looking at this hand here, I mean, will this have to be all-out burst? He's trying to kind of...
Oh, that's helpful.
You can clear here with the Deadly Poison. I wouldn't mind that, but it's still not enough burst.
So Deadly Poison... you still have to run your Chugger in, right? Do you value your health more than the Chugger at this point?
I don't think so, actually. I think I'd actually go Deadly Flurry and leave the Chugger alive. Just coin read dagger, probably. Not even. No, actually, not even read coin read dagger. Yeah. You do attack, I think, into the Mountain Giantess. I mean, it's not that likely that he'll have 8 from hand. It's kind of... We've seen 1 health bar already, you know, so there's now you would have to be double. Yeah.
You also want that coin for the combo starter on Tinker's next turn, because he might not draw anything. He probably will draw something. If he drew Dr. Boom, if he was running it, he wouldn't be able to Tinkers efficiently.
But this attack here gives Orange all the possibilities to come back. If he taps, he can go what? You can actually tap, go double Molten, and heal bot. I don't see a reason why I wouldn't. You could actually maybe Shadow Flame. Is he looking at Shadow Flame? That's an option. I would tap here.
But you definitely tap first. You want those 1 mana Moltens. You've just seen a Blade Flurry as well, and he's got 2 cards in hand. He hasn't used coin, so if you've been keeping track of that, you know that's a coin.
Dark Bomb. Okay.
Oh, and Healbot and Sun Fury Protector.
That's what you get here. Think about how different the game would be if he hadn't had that. If he hadn't attacked there for 2. Looking at the Shadow Flame, I don't mind that. That's fine. Plays around the double sap possibility, I guess. As unlikely as that is.
No, that's not the card you want to take. And Orange actually managed to bring it back, and being 2-0 down and looking a bit shaky at the start, he managed to come back 3-2, and he'll be playing his teammate 6-0 in the next game. What do you think is going to go that? How do you think that game is going to go, Caldy?
I think it's going to be a lot of mental games in that one. I would have to give Orange a slight edge because he has the hand lock against the Patron, but we saw 6-0 having both the big game hunter and a lot of skill managing to play around those AoEs. So, but I'd give a slight edge to Orange, I have to say, just based on the decks. I think their skill is pretty even.
All right, so we will be back in about 10 minutes' time with Orange versus 6-0, the Archon Showdown, and we will see you soon.
esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation. esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get